Yeah, I mean, testament to our players, our staff. I thank them so many times just being able to roll in there on Monday, have stuff prepared. It's hard to, go on the road to Tampa, and get your mind, ready for that. But also in the back of your mind, you've got a whole nother box about, what are you going to do against the Jets, and being able to get on a plane, come home, get in late, but have that ready to go and have energy and a game plan ready for the players on Monday at 1 o'clock. So thank the trainers, thank the staff, the strength staff, everybody involved for getting our players ready to go for the game here in a short week.
Fair Rush coming at you. It is victory formation once again, this time on a Friday morning. Drake Maye's favorite play of the season embodies what this team is doing as a unit. Keagan Stiefel, Jade McCarthy here with you for the next hour to take you through a Patriots team that has the best record in the National Football League, 9-2. Of course, a couple teams will have a chance to equal that this weekend. But for now, it is theirs. They own it. And look, I mean, they went out there last night. They took care of business against the New York Jets. Drake Maye was watching the Jets tape on the way back from Tampa last Sunday. And look, I mean, he went out there and he did what he had to do. Played another sound, solid game of football, Keagan.
Yeah, it's almost like 281 yards and one touchdown instead of multiple is a little bit of a disappointment at this point with the way he's been playing. He's been about as close to perfect as you could imagine a sophomore quarterback who's 24 years old, could be.
Yeah.
But, he's been that, and everybody around him has stepped their game up, whether it's because of him or not. They've done it. The coaching staff has done a tremendous job. Everybody in that building, everybody at One Patriot Place yesterday, fans, players, coaching staff, executives, everybody, unless you were wearing green, did their part. Just one of the turning point moments, I would say, for this franchise as they start to head back into the top of the NFL. I think tonight we'll look back, or last night, we'll look back and we'll say that was one of the moments. That's when it started to look like it used to look at Gillette Stadium.
Yeah, it starts to blur together. Games end late, you're up late working, and all of a sudden it's morphed into a new day. That's just what happens. Yeah. Hey, look, I mean, when it's on this end of it, it's a lot easier than it's on the other end of it, and you're sitting there, four-win season, and oh gosh, like, okay, we're already talking about next year. Now, there's a lot ahead this year for this New England Patriots team. Let's start, with the quarterback. Obviously, Drake Maye talked after the fact about, some MVP chants that he continues to hear there at Gillette, and also just getting ready, for a game on a Thursday night after a short week, on the road and then back home and got to go play ball.
Yeah, I think just a quick turnaround. The goal of these Thursday night, just come out with a win, and that's what happened. Things we look back on, didn't have as much time to prepare for. Some things that I could, look back at myself and, wish I had plays back. But, at the end of the day, just proud of these guys for the effort, the win. And that's the best thing about, Thursday night. You get a weekend to catch up on some rest and some heal up. But I thought his fans were awesome. I think it was pretty sweet for the primetime game here for my first one at home. Pretty sweet. And then, just glad we won.
Drake, how's it feel to get those MVP chants and just have people recognize the way you're playing right now?
Yeah, it was maybe for TreVeyon tonight. I mean, he scored 3 touchdowns. So, I think it's, our friends have, been great with, me since I got here, since I got drafted. And I think just appreciate them for, embracing me, just trying to embrace this city and, give these fans and this team and, just myself, just leave it all out there and give them everything I got.
They were there in full force, obviously, with the MVP chants as this one got underway, and obviously once the offense got rolling, and lots of chants, of course, for the rookie and TreVeyon Henderson and the night that he had. I think this, a couple things stood out to me. I mean, one, the Patriots had 2 penalties in this game. It's a Thursday night game. It's a tough turnaround. Got to get ready to go out there and you don't have a full practice. You're dealing with walkthroughs and things of that nature to get set for a game. Now, I understand the Jets are not this A-level football team at this point in time. I won't even put them up close near that grade. But penalties are also more about like the mistakes that you make yourself and
Right.
what you're ready to do out there. So I would credit this team that they had 2 penalties in this game and that they went out to and for the most part put together a really clean game, despite the fact that it was a quick turnaround and it was a Thursday night. So that's certainly something that jumped out to me, Keagan. Just watching this one, that they weren't going to go out there and beat themselves. They weren't going to go out there and put themselves in 3rd and long situations because of a false start or, deal with a bunch of holding calls and have things called back. I thought, from that perspective, this was really well done. And that's obviously, coaches right on down to the players who are executing it on the field. And then the second thing, and we heard Mike Vrabel talk about this, right? Like you got to win the recovery battle when you got to go out there and play, on a Thursday night. And clearly I think the Patriots did what they had to do in order for that to be a reality. I know TreVeyon Henderson is a rookie in this league, but look, he still had his 2 most active games in the National Football League from Sunday to Thursday. And was ready for that. And I think, again, that's a testament to the team, the players doing what they need to do, the coaches getting in their ear, having them take care of themselves, and the trainers making sure that they were all ready to go and get out there and do what they needed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've achieved something of a flow state, if you're catching my drift, where it's just like not throw your cleats out on the field and win a game, but they aren't doing all that much different on a week-to-week basis. It's kind of following the same script. It's, all right, the defense is going to give up a score. They've done it in 5 of the last 7 games on the first drive. That's just what they do. They go down, and then the offense flips the script, and they completely turn it around where they're kind of going up and down the field. And in these middle quarters, the Patriots defense has been the best defense in football. So to be able to continue to follow that script and just know that they're never out of a game, even if it's early, and even on short rest, they're healthy enough to throw all the same kind of concepts and personnel groupings that they've had throughout the season out onto the field, and they trust the guys that are out there to get the job done. So being able to do that and not having to make these big sweeping changes on a week-to-week basis, I think has contributed as much as anything to the win streak. We'll talk about a little bit later some of the wrinkles they did throw out there on Thursday, because I thought they were interesting. I thought it's something that they'll probably follow for the rest of the season because they were that effective. But outside of that, being able to run your same offense and without certain players like Ramondre Stevenson, like Kayshon Boutte, to just bring other guys in there and go. TreVeyon Henderson, like you mentioned, his 2 most active weeks, and he's been as good as we've seen and as good as we expected. And then Mack Hollins just sliding right into that Kayshon Boutte role. We thought it was going to be Kyle Williams. He's just not figuring it out, for as impressive as his 77-yard touchdown was last week. He's not there quite yet. But Mack Hollins, he's a veteran. He's proven himself in this league, and he's able to just go out there and you're not missing a beat at that position. So being able to do that on top of just carrying over all the success that you've had in previous weeks, you can't ask for more.
Yeah, Hollins, one that he really would have liked to have back for sure.
Great play by Brandon Stevens.
Yes, it was a terrific play. I mean, yeah, you got to credit the defense obviously for making that play. But man, I mean, that was one that he, can I dig it in a little bit more, or, however you want to put it. Let's talk about the rookie. Just what a game for TreVeyon Henderson. I'm merging names here because TreVeyon and Diggs both had significant games in this one. So let's talk about both the other key pieces on the offense for the Patriots here. Let's hear from their rookie running back on the night that he had.
Yeah, I think, it's a journey. The NFL comes with a lot of highs and lows. And so, I think the biggest thing is just the preparation going into the week. And, with the reps that we have, just trying my best to take advantage of them and, continue to try to grow and get better as a player. And so, my running backs coach, he does a good job of pushing us. Coach Vrabes, he does a good job of pushing everyone. And so, I think preparation is key.
TreVeyon, last week you're outrunning guys on the outside, and this week you're bowling over safeties through the middle of the line of scrimmage. Do you take pride in being a back who can kind of do both of those things?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I just always trying to, just work on different aspects of my game, when running the ball, when I'm blocking, running routes out the backfield, whatever it is. And I'm always studying other guys as well, other backs in the lead, just trying to, pick things from, their game. And so I'm always trying to learn and grow as a player.
We're seeing the evolution of that on the field right now. I mean, I don't think there is any question about that, Keagan. In the end zone, obviously the hat trick for him, 2 on the ground, the other one just wide open, for Maye to find him there. 19 for 62 on the ground, 5 for 31 in the air. Now shares a stat line with Rob Gronkowski. How fitting is that? Given that he was in town at the game, signed the contract, a Patriot for life, right? And now 2 rookies to get into the end zone 3 times in one game. So some nice little full circle moments there from a franchise perspective. But also so much to look forward to in what TreVeyon Henderson brings to this team, and then the way they used him in this game.
Yeah, and let's not forget Sony Michel, 3 touchdowns against the Chargers in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I'll never forget it. So shout out to Sony Michel, a friend of the program. But TreVeyon Henderson, for me, watching him the last 2 weeks, you're starting to kind of see what you saw at Ohio State, not just on the field, but off the field. He's unflappable. There's nothing you can throw at him that's going to kind of move him off of his path. He's kind of a linear trajectory guy. He's going to move and he's going to go all the way up to whatever his peak is. There are going to be very few valleys with him because, we mentioned it last week and he talked about it. Every time he's interviewed, he talks about it, where he relies so much on his faith to kind of keep him grounded and keep him in the moment. And with that, he's able to withstand the talk of, we heard this week, Ramondre Stevenson, once he's healthy, he's going to regain his spot as the starting running back. And Mike Vrabel has been very open and honest about the fact, especially early in the year, that if he can't block TreVeyon Henderson, if he can't block for Drake Maye and stand in there in pass protection and give him an extra beat, he's just not going to get the playing time that people expect. So knowing all of that and having to deal with all of that and continuing to improve across the board, not just in pass pro, but when he's running the ball, running routes out of the backfield, like he mentioned, I think this was his best game all around, even though he broke 2 yesterday. Kind of more consistent running the ball this week. He was running it between the tackles. They included, 2 300-plus pound offensive and defensive linemen in there for him to give him a little bit of help. But when he was running between the tackles, he wasn't just jamming it straight into somebody right in front of him. He was, a little bit more patient, and he's, all right, if I can get 3 yards on this play, we're good. So knowing that he's making these changes while also knowing that there are some changes that are going to be made around him, right, with Ramondre Stevenson coming back, and just being able to improve on a week-to-week basis, I think is as much as you could expect, and it should have Patriots fans excited, because no matter what happens, you've got a guy who you can trust at this point, to step in there and take on the lion's share of touches and be successful while doing it.
Yeah, that firm foundation of his faith and not feeling like things are shifting underneath him and the way he's going to approach things is, you really can't overstate it. Because as a rookie in this league, as a young kid, as someone who inevitably is going to see change around him throughout the course of his career, be it because of injury or contracts or all the other things that happen in this league, he's just going to rely on that that foundation to get him through. And it does make him extremely even keeled. And he just sort of puts his head down and he keeps going on his way. And he's like, okay, this is what I'm working on. This is what I can improve on. This is where I see opportunity. And he'll just keep moving in that forward path. Like you said, it just feels like it's going to do this. And maybe you have times where it levels off a little bit, but rarely do you see it drop down. And that type of ability, I think, in this league, just to weather whatever it is with that. It's not nonchalance, but it's more just an acceptance, right? Like, I can't control this. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And that's great. Like, that's what it is.
That's as big of a skill as anything else he can do. Catching the ball, running it, being elusive, being powerful with the ball in his hands, being able to weather the storm of the noise around him. I would consider that a skill. And I think it's something that very few rookies have. And we saw it with Drake Maye. Very few, real issues. They knew they stunk by the time they even started him. So there was no worry about, I'm going to mess it up for everybody, because at that point it was, everything around here is built for you. It's different for TreVeyon Henderson. We're built to win, and you just got thrown into the starting lineup because Ramondre Stevenson's injured, and he's been one of the best players on the field. So to see that and be able to weather that, and doing it all while knowing that once Ramondre Stevenson's healthy, his touches are gonna level off, his snap count's gonna level off. But it doesn't matter. He's able to compartmentalize all of the issues surrounding his spot within the offense and, produce on Sundays and on Thursdays. And that's very impressive.
Yeah, no doubt. And you could see that patience for sure. Just sort of like waiting for the hole to open and, not feeling like it was a scramble. It was more like I'm just being thoughtful about this. I'm taking what's being given to me. It was like, that was what I could see watching him, in this game last night. Of course, the other key component, Diggs with another 100-yard receiving game, doesn't wind up in the end zone. We don't have Cardi B up there dancing last night with Mr. Kraft. But needless to say, this was another performance from Stephon Diggs that, demonstrates what he is for this Patriots team. Let's hear from him on the win streak and, just being on this team and who they are.
I wouldn't say it mean a little bit more, but just getting back to rare form and getting to where I want to be physically and mentally. So I'm just thankful to be where I'm at. We got a lot of weapons on offense. So when I get to make some plays out there, I left one out there. It was a flat, but we still left one out there. Just getting opportunities and wanting to be myself and be another pillar on this team. I just feel like just taking advantage of my opportunities is going to be key because you never know when you'll get them. We got a lot of playmakers on this team.
I know we talked about it this week, but now 8 straight wins. How special is what's brewing here in this locker room among you guys?
Y'all got to tell me. You know what I'm saying? We just take it each week, 1 week at a time. Y'all got a more like different vantage point than what we're seeing, but being a part of it is definitely, it's special, it's fun. You know what I'm saying? It's exciting. People kind of count us out a little bit during the beginning of the year when things weren't going right, but it's easy to do that. So for us, just keeping that mindset of being hungry, being humble, and when things are going right, just keep trying to duplicate that process and we'll replicate that process to generate wins.
Just love how much he's like shouting out all the different playmakers on the team multiple times, when being asked about what he did last night. Come on, like that's what great leaders do. They deflect the praise and have this notion that I'm not getting those opportunities without, the other guys who are out here doing what they need to do, whether it just be because they're the distraction on the play, or because they're throwing a block or whatever the case may be. But 15 primetime games with 100+ receiving yards, 39 of them overall. Only the Hall of Famer Jerry Rice has more primetime games with over 100 yards receiving than Stephon Diggs. That's pretty darn good company to be keeping, Keagan.
Yeah, very impressive. I think for him too, we know what he's capable of, and it was a bit of a question after the ACL injury. He's obviously on the other half of 30, so you start to think, is he going to start slowing down anyway? And then you add the injury on top of it, and is that going to be the nail in the coffin for him? And it hasn't been. Obviously, he's been fantastic. But the biggest surprise to me and the best thing about what he's done is it's almost like he's an advocate for his teammates. He's been in this situation before. He's been on a 9-2 team when he was in Buffalo, and he's had a superstar young quarterback, and he's had a good defense on the other side and a great young head coach. And I think the last time he was in that situation, it was a little bit of a, yeah, but what about me? Like I'm the guy that changed it all. I made this team better. And this time around, it's, what about all these other guys, huh? Drake Maye, he's fantastic. He was asked about Drake Maye kind of being in the MVP race, and he goes, yeah, he's got some pretty good weapons. And he wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about, Demario Douglas and Mack Hollins and TreVeyon Henderson. Like, he wants to advocate for everybody in that building, because I think he's turned the corner on the, I want all the attention on me. He knows now, at this point in his career, he doesn't even have to be the leading receiver on the team or the guy who scores all the touchdowns. The attention's going to be on him anyway. And to be able to deflect it a little bit and share it with his teammates is only going to bring them all together more. So, I feel like I talk about it every week about how impressed I am and how wrong I was about his mentality and what he brought to the locker room. But I'm going to continue to do it because he deserves it. To be able to make a very late career shift in terms of your public perception is an impressive thing to do. So shout out to Stefon Diggs being able to do that. And shout out to the Patriots for, Ian Rappaport before the game kind of reminded us all, they signed him sight unseen. He did not pass his physical because he was still recovering from an ACL injury. They gave him a 3-year contract worth a lot of money. And it's turned out to be a good deal for both sides. So good on them as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, and Vrabel wanted him. Like, he was like, I think, if I think back, like, he was like, I want this guy. I want this guy. But
that
yeah,
relationship
I mean, it's like
goes back 14 years. So that's a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and you reach a point, I think, where it becomes not just about like what I can do, but how can I impact other people? And like, how is that my greater purpose? And I think we've seen that in real time with Steph Diggs. And it's pretty special to have the seat to be watching that one. All right. Much more to get to, of course. We have some flowers to hand out. It is a Victory Monday on a Friday, because, that's how it goes this week. They get to enjoy 3 days off, right? 3-day break for this team to just kind of take a pause and get set for what's ahead. We're getting close to Thanksgiving, and, that's when it all really begins, right? I mean, that's the expression for all those years here in New England. We'll see what it looks like, but we'll continue to unpack this one and look ahead to some of the other matchups. It is a good weekend of football. Really good Sunday slate. Stick around. Much more Foxborough Rush right after this. Foxborough Rush coming back at you on a Friday morning. Patriots already take care of business. They passed the test of the week and defeat the New York Jets last night, and they'll have 3 days to soak it in, maybe watch some of the other teams that will try to keep pace with them as they sit there now 9-2, best record in the National Football League. Flowers in this one. Really not hard to come by. I think
everyone,
I'm going to trust the quarterback.
All 53.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to trust the quarterback to hand out some of them. Let's hear from Drake Maye on the rookie running back.
Or don't fix it if it ain't broke. I think just him stepping up. I think it was a big time for him stepping up, and it's been great for him to get all these reps, to keep getting these reps. He wants to be great. He's just showing up every day and asking questions and get out of here, rookie. Sorry about that. But yeah, I think just continuing to him to keep on going for the oncoming weeks, and knowing that him and Mondre and our backs, we can create a good little 1-2 thing going, and looking forward to having Mondre back. But TreVeyon stepped up huge.
Love the back and forth between him and Will Campbell, who's like sneaking in, to give his quarterback some flowers himself. But you look at what TreVeyon has done, and we talked a little bit about this, but obviously he deserves some flowers in this one, because I thought what we saw in real time last night is just him adding an element to his game that we all know is there, but we hadn't actually seen it yet on the field. And why not go out there and try it against a New York Jets team that, frankly, their line is not what it had been, right? I mean, that's what happened.
No. Yeah. If you're without one of the best defensive tackles in football, it's going to be a little bit easier to run against you. So that was to be expected a little bit. And I do want to say before I jump into mine, the Drake Maye meme, where like his middle name is his full name, makes me laugh every single time. When that clip was playing, I was giggling over here because I think it's so stupid. It's maybe the funniest thing in the world. It's very funny. Best nickname in football. Yeah, Drake Maye. And then when they take that picture and they put grills on him, it's just
yeah. It's
the internet
goodness.
is good, right? Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes.
I mean, the Maye family is just cooking it up on the internet. These days.
Good
pun intended.
Good on them.
Pun intended.
And her comment section, again, Miss Ann Michael May has the best comment section on TikTok. All right, back to football. You gave the shout out to the guy running it. I'm going to give it to the big uglies in front of him because I think they did a great job. But specifically, Ben Brown, who has kind of, he was the starting center last year and he did a pretty decent job at it. And then he kind of slips out of the rotation and he's your sixth offensive lineman. Only offensive lineman to start that isn't in their typical offensive lineman, starting rotation. So he's been the top guy, and they needed somebody to be that sixth jumbo tight end. And they called on him. I believe it was 8 runs when he was on the field. They averaged 5 yards a carry, and they scored twice. So pretty efficient. He did a great job in that role. I would imagine that he's going to stick there long term. Jack Westover's been a okay fullback. I wouldn't exactly call him good. Kairos Tonga is limited. It's got to be within the 5 or he's not really capable of doing much of anything out there. Ben Brown brings a little bit something different from those two guys. I think he's their best option. They need to go get a tight end that can block, but until then, they've got a good option in Ben Brown. So good on him for stepping up on a short week and really making the difference for him.
Let's hear from one of those other guys up front, boasting about his quarterback, talking about Will Campbell here.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing at an elite level right now. I'm biased, but I think he's the best player in the NFL. There's no game that we're out of when we have him. He's just, even though how good of a player is, he's an even better person and an even better teammate. So that just makes it that much more cool to, be able to share the huddle in the locker room and be friends with somebody like that. I just, look forward to the future and just continue to play with them and grow with them. And as we all continue to grow in this offense, and, he's got everything in front of him, and I'm super excited to be a part of it.
I love how we get to see multiple sides of Will Campbell. Like, him just giving his quarterback a hard time because that's the friendship, obviously, that exists there and that they've built. And then 2, just, the praise, right? And the excitement for who he is and not just as a quarterback, but as a person, obviously. And on the field, you start to look at some of the numbers, right? I mean, I think it was Opta Stats that had this one that I came across. I don't remember if it was last night or this morning, but 11 starts this season. 2,500 plus passing yards, 250 plus rush yards, 20 plus touchdown passes. His completion percentage up over 70, and of course the win percentage. No other quarterback in NFL history has put up those numbers over any span of 11 starts in a single regular season. How do you follow that? Here's some more flowers, Drake. Honestly.
The kid's efficient. I mean, it's just kind of what he does, right? Is he gets the ball where it needs to go and he lets the playmakers make plays. So, on top of that, it seems like every week, and this is another one, first guy to do it since Tom Brady in 2007 or 2009 or 2010, just being able to be in that conversation as 24-year-old sophomore quarterback. He hasn't even started 17 games yet. or he just surpassed a full season worth of statistics to be able to look back on. Super, super, super impressive. It's, I wrote a full story of making the case why he should be the MVP for NESN.com. And I understand when you look at the counting numbers, Matt Stafford's are ridiculous. He's got 25 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
But for value and for doing it with what he's been given, which, again, we can say all we want about the great things around him. This isn't that great of a football team in terms of talent. They don't get after the quarterback. They don't run the ball efficiently. His top receiver, Stephon Diggs, ranks 25th in catches and yards in the NFL. So it's not like he has a superstar on the outside right now that he's throwing to. He's the engine to what has become a freaking tank that just kills everybody in front of him. So there's no doubt in my mind who the MVP is. It's Drake Maye. I think there's very little that he would have to do to be able to lose, or a lot that somebody else would have to do to be able to take it from him. He's the guy right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I think it's going to be interesting because there's also a little bit of a holdover notion sometimes on those MVP votes, right?
Sure.
And so, what does that necessarily mean moving forward, right? Like, how much does that wind up benefiting a Matt Stafford with the numbers that he's putting up there? So I think, again, these are all sort of, you think about like Saquon not winning it last year and what Jonathan Taylor's doing in Indy this year. Like there's all these sort of like other nuances that end up factoring into it. But I think from a like most valuable player, like what it actually is, I mean, this Patriots team is not doing this without Drake Maye as their quarterback. It's just not happening.
If they want to make it a lifetime achievement award, go right ahead. Matt Stafford, he's old. He's played well enough to be an MVP, but never won it. That's awesome. Just not the MVP. He just isn't. So if you want to give me, and this isn't an argument to you necessarily, just in general, if you want to give me Jonathan Taylor, sure. I would say he's just as valuable to his team, but it's a quarterback award, and it has been for 2 decades now. I think there's only been one running back to win it in the last 20 years, and it was Adrian Peterson because he ran for 2,000 yards off of a torn ACL. Outside of that, like, let's all be serious. Let's not start changing the rules now just because we're not so sure if we should give it to a 24-year-old. The kid earned it.
Just because we're, showing pictures of who wore it better between Drake Maye and Tom Brady on the sideline, like huddled over with "He is risen," right? I mean, yeah. Like
that's a great tweet. Shout out to Adlick. That's well done.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Look, I think for me, like if I had to nitpick on one thing, it's the way it's the start of the game for the defense.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like 6 touchdowns in opening drives. At some point that catches up with you. I get that like the Patriots offense they're clicking on all cylinders right now, and they take the ball and they flip the script, and all of a sudden you're back to even Steven, if you will. But at some point it's not that easy, and you don't want to be in a deficit. And so that would be the one thing that I'm like, come on, can we improve this from what we saw last night? There were some other things. I mean, the run defense wasn't what it had been. I think about like, dealing with a mobile quarterback. I think about Lamar being on the horizon, a few weeks down the road, and what's that going to look like when you clearly had some challenges with Fields last night. So those are a couple of the, here's the little needs improvement part of the script from my end at any point.
Yeah, imagine if that guy could throw the ball, how dangerous he would be. I agree with you on every front. I'm just going to put a name to it, Zach Kerr. And I think he's done a great job. But to be an interim defensive coordinator who has 5 years of experience coaching defense, and for it to be where you give up a opening drive score almost every week, and then you settle in and you make the in-game adjustments. He has it flipped. It's working for him, so great. Like, continue doing that if you want to keep winning games, I guess. But that makes zero sense. It kind of puts my brain in a pretzel because he should be good with an opening script with all the help that he's getting from Terrell Williams on the outside and Mike Vrabel inside the building. He should be able to create a pretty good script and prepare for what's coming, but it just hasn't happened. And then beyond that, you've run zone coverage all year, and then you go man up on the Jets when they have, he's not quite Lamar Jackson, but in terms of running the football, there are very few in the business better than Justin Fields at the quarterback position.
Yep.
You don't play man defense against him. It's like a pillar of the NFL. When you play Justin Fields, throw some zone defense out there, give him a quarterback spy, and he can't do nothing. And they didn't do it last night. I don't understand the idea behind what they did. It obviously worked out. They gave up the 2 touchdowns. One of them was kind of like all right, we're going to let you walk down the field as long as you kill some clock situation.
Right.
But it's not making sense. The whole Zach Kerr thing doesn't make sense to me. So I'm giving him a demerit because I'm confused.
We'd like some explanations around here on Foxborough Rush. Just a little explainer. We'd appreciate that. But look, tied for most in the NFL. Six games, 6 opponents have walked right down the field and scored an opening touchdown. So would like to see that shored up. I just want to get this into because I thought Christian Gonzalez talking about playing for Mike Vrabel and who he's been as a coach and what he's done with his team was pretty significant. Let's take a listen to Gonzalez.
Braves has done an amazing job. Coming in from OTAs, he stood in here and told us, what we were going to do and building the team and building connections and just, coming together, getting close. And him as a former player, not just a former player, but a great player. He knows how to get people going. He knows how to get us going, and you could call it getting under our skin a little bit. He likes to talk, but it's fun. It's good energy, and we love playing for him, and we'll do whatever we got to do to go out there and get wins.
You can see it, right? You can feel it just listening to the way he talks about his coach and what he's meant to this team. So I just thought it was important to make sure we got that in because that's where it starts, right? It's top down, and give the Crafts credit for moving on when they did because a lot of owners don't do that either. They stay too long with a mistake. They recognize it's a mistake, and instead of moving on, they pause, right? So I think you got to give credit there.
Double down.
What did you think of the unis?
I liked them. I'll take this time to say rest in peace to UniWatch, one of the great websites in sports history. They shut down a couple weeks ago, so they didn't get to give their full reaction to them. I thought they were all right. Looked a little bit too much like denim to me. It looked like a Canadian tuxedo a little bit, but outside of that,
when you get the slate blue.
when you get the close-up shots in the end zone after a touchdown, they look great. And the guys who wore red accessories with them, smart move. Throw a little pop of color in there as well. So
yes.
To be the Devil Wears Prada, whatever her name is, Meryl Streep in that movie, 7.6, I'll say. So I know people love them.
7.6.
Yeah.
Thanks for the round number,
Patriots.
Keegan.
76.
Yeah, I know. I just, I like them. A little interesting on the slate blue. My husband was like, they look kind of soft. I don't know. He wasn't such a fan.
They look like they got washed too much.
too many times through the washer.
Time to buy new ones.
We gotta take a break. We'll be back with more right after this on Foxborough Rush. Welcome back into Foxborough Rush. We're still going on a tangent about the Nor'easter uniforms here. I'll give.
We
a
got
shout
to get
out
all
to,
the stuff we couldn't say earlier. We
got
all
gosh.
that out,
Shout out
during the break.
to Bert Breer, who said my favorite part is reading the descriptions of the uniforms. check out his tweet if you haven't. Like, I'll give him the plug. You will laugh, I promise, because it is pretty funny to read the Nike descriptions. All right, let's get to some of the other games coming our way this weekend. You look at, obviously, look, I mean, it's quite a slate. Sunday Night Football brings us the Lions in Philadelphia. Dan Campbell's talking about how they throw batteries on the field there. Also an advocate for the tush push. No joke. He said both of those things this week. Terrific and hugely important battle in the NFC West as well. Let's start there with 2-7-2 teams, the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. Winner is going to be in first place in the division. Who do you like in this one?
I've got the Seahawks. I've said it all year. They're my preseason NFC pick. There's just something about the fact that they put up 30 in the first half every week that who am I to say that they're not going to be able to do it again this week against the Rams? I think this is going to be a lower scoring matchup than we've seen from these two teams. They both put up a lot of points, but these defenses are, the Seahawks force a lot of turnovers. The Rams get after the quarterback. So I think they're going to struggle a little bit early, but I would imagine the second half you start to see the offenses kind of come to life. It's going to be a fun game, absolutely. Very excited for it, but I've got the Seahawks. Just sticking with my preseason pick.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's again, like this is it might be who ends up with the ball last kind of game, right?
Yeah.
It just, you look at them. I mean, they're the only two teams in the league with top 5 offense and defense when it comes to scoring. So I don't think this is going to be a super high scoring game. I think the defenses are too good in this one. I'll go with Seattle. I mean, like I said, I think it just feels kind of like a crapshoot because I think it could be that good of a game to actually watch, which I'll take over being right on the pick. All right, San Francisco and Arizona and the other two NFC West teams. Arizona going to be without Marvin Harrison Jr. in this one. He had an appendectomy this week. Never any fun. I've lived to tell the tale on that one. They're also down without Zay Jones. So life getting more difficult for Jacoby Brissett. I'll take the 49ers.
Yeah, I've got the 49ers as well. Brock Purdy back in at quarterback. I don't have to watch Mac Jones this week, so I might throw this one on the TV.
Oh, gosh.
Maybe.
That's going to be interesting. I mean, Mac Jones handled it all so well, and I know I have said this here before, but a credit to him. I do think it'll be interesting to watch what Purdy looks like out there. And look, I mean, everybody out there has said all the right things, in terms of the quarterback situation. But it's going to be interesting to watch, just to see what that offense looks like with Brock Purdy being back out there for the 49ers. Baltimore in Cleveland. Lamar missed practice on Wednesday because of knee soreness. He was back out there. This is I mean, it's crazy to say this with the way they started, Keegan, but this is their division for the taking.
Yeah, they're the best team in the AFC. On paper, from what they're capable of, they're the best team in the AFC. I think they have no problem rolling against the Browns, who just can't put sustained success together. They figure it out, week to week. They've had a few all right, we're starting to head in the right direction, but they can't sustain any of the success. And while we're here, if we're plugging tweets, greatest tweet of all time, Lamar Jackson is unstoppable except for the fact that he has the immune system of a Victorian child is the funniest tweet that was ever tweeted, because it's true. He's sick 3 times a week, and he's missed more practices than any starting quarterback in the NFL over the last 6-7 years. If they could just put him in a bubble, between games from Sunday to Sunday, I think they'd do it. And I think they should, because he's too important to their overall success. And it's, if he goes down, if he misses one more game, they're kind of out of it. They can't afford that.
Yeah, no, I don't think that will be one this weekend. I'll take them to win their 4th straight against Cleveland. Another huge game with divisional implications. Kansas City in Denver. Pat Mahomes will tell you that Andy Reid spends a lot of time during mini camps and such, OTAs, talking about got to win the division. First goal of the season, win the division. I don't think the Chiefs have the chance to win the division if they don't go into Denver at Mile High and win the game this Sunday.
Yeah, they don't. This is a must-win, and any game that's a must-win for the Chiefs, unless it's the AFC Championship or Super Bowl, I think they're an automatic take. Like, you got to take them.
Wait.
They don't lose them. They haven't lost them with Mahomes at quarterback. They literally haven't. So we'll take Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs here. I am not a believer in the Broncos long term. I think that defense is fantastic. I think they've got some decent weapons, but with Bo Nix at quarterback, when you're playing a defense that can kind of hurry him up and force mistakes, the second he starts making mistakes, it's over. So I'll take the Chiefs.
Yeah, 9 straight AFC West titles. I know Denver's coming off of a mini bye, but the Chiefs are coming off of a full bye. Andy Reid 22-4 in his head coaching career, coming off of a bye week. 22-4. That's a ridiculous number. And of course, that dates back to his days in Philadelphia as the head coach of the Eagles. They have the Sunday night game. They went from Monday night with the win in Green Bay to Sunday night hosting the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell took over play calling for the Lions, which I thought was really interesting this past game. Says he's going to do that again. Play calling for the Eagles continues to make you scratch your head a bit in terms of what they're doing and how they're utilizing everybody that they have there. Who do you like in the Sunday night game?
Yeah, I think a little kind of wrinkle to the Dan Campbell calling plays thing. Some people believe that goes back to week 2. If you watch that broadcast, you can see him, talking when an offensive coordinator would be calling plays. He's always had the call sheet in his hand. So I wonder if this is a kind of on again, off again thing that's been going on throughout the year and they've finally stuck to it. If they have, I'm taking the Lions. I think the Eagles offensively have struggled enough to where you can't really pencil them in for 25 points, which is kind of what you're able to pencil the Lions in for. Even when they're playing the Eagles, they've been that good offensively throughout different stretches, we'll say. And I think if it's Ben Johnson or if it's Dan Campbell, they know the right buttons to push. And if he's the one pushing the buttons, I've got the Lions putting up 25-30. I don't think the Eagles can match him.
I'm going to take the Lions in this one as well. We are I don't think we have a difference this week, which is really interesting, given the fact that some of these matchups I think really could go either way. I see a lot of questions still with this Eagles team, and they still manage to win these games. But I don't know. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson is like, look, this is a must-win game for us. I just feel like the Lions are going to go in there, and Dan Campbell has not managed to beat the Eagles during his time as the head coach in Detroit. They're the one team in the NFC that he hasn't managed to get the win against. And I just think that this Sunday might be the night that he actually gets it. So we'll see.
For as long as AJ Brown is throwing fits on Twitch, I'm taking whoever they're playing because it's a show out there in Philadelphia right now.
It's not always sunny in Philadelphia. I guess that's
not for the Eagles.
That's what we're going with. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on Foxborough Rush. We'll be back right after this. Foxborough Rush coming back at you. Dallas and Oakland play on Monday Night Football, and obviously the Dallas Cowboys have been on the hearts and minds of many around the National Football League, and Mack Hollins took it upon himself to really bring some attention to that last night.
Mack, when you hear the news of like Marshawn Kneeland, how does that hit?
Yeah, I think that kind of goes to what I was saying. It doesn't matter if you're successful or you make plays or everybody thinks that you're in the best place in the world. You don't know what somebody's going through in their own, between their ears. And sometimes it's more than just, well, I checked in on them. And you really don't know what somebody might be going through, especially, like I said, as men. He's in a locker room in a very alpha sport where saying that hey, I'm not doing all right, like, that can get looked at as you're weak or you're Like I don't want you as a team. I need tough guys as teammates. And unfortunately, that's kind of been the history of men in general, I guess. But I think to anybody who's listening, more men are willing to hear what you have to say than you think. That tough guy persona that we all kind of put on isn't as real when it actually comes down to it. And it's unfortunate to see somebody lose their life. And you never know why. You never know what was the trigger or the straw that broke the camel's back.
Well said. And did it wearing a 988 shirt, of course, the suicide prevention hotline. And on the back, it said, "You're worth it." Look, just a way to bring needed attention to something that obviously is going to stay with this Dallas Cowboys organization, the league, and beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. If you do need help and you do call the number, know that it is free and it is confidential. They connect you with somebody to talk to for as long as you want. It's, I think, one of the great services that is offered. So if you do need it, 988, that's the number. Feel free to call it because it's there for you if you do need it.
Yeah, pick up the phone, call a friend. Call mom, call dad, call brother, call sister. Like just pick up the phone if you're in that spot.
Yeah.
Dallas, obviously, they're going to be playing with heavy hearts for the rest of the season after losing their brother and their friend. They'll start on Monday night against the Raiders. I think it'll be one that everyone will be watching at the beginning just to see how they honor their friend. So enjoy the football this weekend. Week.